Would you do that for us?
Diane. Lord, thank you for letting us come together again today to do the work of the Cherokee people. Help us find wisdom as we do that work. Help us remember the least of our brothers and sisters, most importantly, as we do that work. Amen.
Kelly, would you call the roll?
Darrell England.
Here.
Jack Baker.
Here.
Joe Byrd.
I'm in.
Julia Coates. Here. Jody Fishinghop.
Here.
Meredith Braley. Here. Janelle Fulbright,
Present.
Don Garvin,
Honor.
Frankie Hargis, Chuck Hoskin Jr.,
Here.
China Glory Jordan,
Present.
Lee Keener, Dick Lay,
Here.
Curtis Snell,
Here.
David Thornton,
Present.
David Walkingstick, Eric Allen Watts.
Honey.
We have a quorum.
Okay. Next is the approval of the minutes of previous meetings. We have December 10th of 2012. Has everybody had an opportunity to review? Go ahead.
Move to approve.
Okay, I hear a motion. Is second. All in favor of approval of the minutes of December 10th signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it. Now we have the December 27th, 2012 special session meeting. Has everybody had an opportunity to review those?
Move for approval.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Everyone in favor of approving those minutes can signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. Looks like we're up for the State of the Nation by Principal Chief Bill John Baker.
Greetings. Great day in the Cherokee Nation. We've come off of a really, really great 2012, and I look forward to even a more prosperous 2013. This is our first meeting of the year, and at this time I'm going to yield for a short period to the President of Northeastern State University, Steve Turner, with a presentation to the tribe.
Good evening, members of the council, Chief Baker, Deputy Chief Crittenden. It's an honor to be here tonight. I've had the opportunity over the last year to meet many of you in my job to represent Northeastern State. But I'm here tonight specifically to talk about a very special recognition for the nation. There have been any number of partnerships that predate everyone in this room between Northeastern State and the Cherokee Nation. And our job is simply to continue to, for us to serve our students and for you to serve your people. The partnership tonight really is at the very top of that. We're here tonight to present a very special award recognizing at least 25 years of partnership between the Cherokee Nation and the Oklahoma College of Optometry. The award tonight and the resolution is presented and voted on by the Association of Schools and Colleges of Optometry. To make this special presentation to Chief Baker is the Dean of the Oklahoma College of Optometry, Dr. Doug Penniston. So, Dr. Penniston, please.
I'm extremely honored to bring greetings to you from the Association of Schools and Colleges of Optometry, known by the acronym ASCO. ASCO is the governing body representing all of the 23 schools and colleges of optometry in the United States, Puerto Rico, and Canada. This resolution, which has been unanimously adopted by ASCO, commends the commitment of the Cherokee Nation to provide its citizens with the highest of quality in health care. ASCO also wishes to acknowledge the truly unprecedented and remarkable partnership between the Cherokee Nation and Northeastern State University, Oklahoma College of Optometry. A resolution such as this from ASCO is unprecedented. The relationship between the Cherokee Nation and the NSU Oklahoma College of Optometry began more than 25 years ago and has developed into a system which is recognized nationwide as a model for the delivery of health care in a rural setting while at the same time setting a standard of excellence in education for optometric students. The eye and vision care provided by the faculty, residents, and students of the Oklahoma College of Optometry is recognized as the highest and most advanced level of care of any optometry program in the world. Excuse me. Therefore, through this resolution, the member institutions of ASCO commend the Cherokee Nation for its commitment to provide the highest of quality of health care to its people and for its collaboration with an optometric teaching institute, the Oklahoma College of Optometry. It is indeed an honor for me to present this resolution to you.
You know, it's ironic that they come and give us an award for the partnership when very likely we should be giving them an award for serving our people so well with optometry care all these many years. And as I said, 2012 was a great year. 2013, I look for it to be a better year. You know, we started, since we last met, we have installed the second female Justice of the Supreme Court of the Cherokee Nation, and Angela Jones came and was sworn in, and so she is a fully acting member of that body today, and for that, I'm sure that the courts will be better and the Cherokee Nation will be better with that position filled. We dug dirt and started the process of protecting the capital of the Cherokee Nation. There on the old historic courthouse square, the symbol of sovereignty, the symbol that after the Trail of Tears, our ancestor says we're not done, that we're here to stay, and they rebuilt. And with this project, you know, you go to Europe and you see buildings that are 600 years old. This is one of the oldest buildings in Oklahoma at 150 years old. I hope that our great-great-great-grandchildren, 500 years from now, can come to the square and see the capital of the Cherokee Nation and see that it has been preserved, that it has been protected, and it will show that the Cherokee spirit never dies. It's the symbol, and it's one of the few courthouse squares in the nation that we can have the nativity scene, that we control what goes there. So it's very important to our history, to our culture, and we intend to fully protect it, preserve it, and the parts that cannot be saved will be reconstructed. And in a few, 6 months, the cupola that none of us have ever seen, except in photographs, will be back on top of the courthouse square in Tahlequah. We recently purchased 22 acres in Jay, Oklahoma, arguably the best piece of property in Jay. It's on the highway. It's across from the high school, sits next to the bank, and it goes from the highway all the way back to join to our food distribution center. and it will be the site of a new clinic. The clinic in Jay has been operating for many years, but it's in a 70 or 80-year-old old county hospital. We've had an asbestos scare. It's extremely expensive to maintain and do the upkeep. So a new clinic in Jay, Oklahoma is on the drawing board, and hopefully in 18 months, 2 years, we'll be opening a Jay clinic. C&B is the proud new owner of probably the last large tract of land in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. It's a piece of property that is just south of town called the Berry Farm. For years, 30, 40 years, every developer that came to Tahlequah lusted after this piece of property. It has not been for sale in my lifetime, but they were able to, with the perfect storm of family deciding to divest themselves, it only came up for sale one time. They got it cheaper than contracts they had on it. They got a golf course thrown into the deal. And I applaud C&B for their fantastic purchase of the best piece of property in the capital of the Cherokee Nation. Several months ago, a shopping center south of Tahlequah came up for sale. It appraised for $2.4 million, 15,000 square feet. 3/4 of it has never been moved into. C&B negotiated the purchase of that shopping center, and I'm proud to say they got it for $1 million. They're not going to close on it. They have given it to us, and we're going to close on it and put health programs into that building. It will be right on the highway. It will be a focal point for Cherokee signage, and it will, according to which programs they put in, it will pay for itself in 5 to 10 years, and we'll stop paying rent and own a good piece of property right there on the main street of Tahlequah. Finally, we purchased 113.5 acres that joins the complex right across from the golf course. Marshal Service had a plan to spend $80,000 moving some dirt so that they could have a shooting range. This has the perfect shooting range already built into it. Bald Hill is part of it. So they'll have a shooting range. There's 34 acres, and it just so happened I heard the council in their committee meeting today that maybe we needed to make arrangements to provide some land for our housing projects that where our citizens just absolutely did not have land. We've got a lot of single women here at the complex, elderly women, that don't have any land, but they sure do want one of our new houses. So 34 acres of that 113 is planned for housing for for folks that want to be close to the complex. And the last piece joins our ceremonial grounds, there in the back, so it protects us on that side as well. And when we're talking sovereignty, anything that is sovereign that is next to it, that continuation is always a good deal to protect our sovereignty. In the programs themselves, the Cherokee Nation Clothing for Kids project that Jody Fish and Hawk dreamed up several years ago. We served 7,000 Cherokee kids this winter. I know on TV you hear that there's a flu shot shortage, and yet there's an epidemic of flu. We still have flu shots available. We have given out over 17,000 since October to protect our citizens, and we have more available. So if anybody is in the need, come see us. Our at-large community meetings have been a great success. Recently, we've hosted meetings in California and Arizona and shared our program updates, our cultural programs from the Cherokee Nation. And it's just amazing that we're showing up and at a community meeting and having 500 photo IDs being made while they're there. We have done over 8,000 photo IDs since we started the program just a couple of months ago. And so if you haven't gotten one, you need to either find us when we're in your community or come by the complex and get your photo ID. They are amazing. You can vote in state elections with them. You can go through the airports and get on the airplanes with them. And all you show is your Cherokee Nation tribal citizenship card that is a photo ID that is fully recognized. I was coming back from D.C. the other day, and I showed my card, and the girl stopped, and I thought, uh-oh, she hadn't got it. And she says, no, I get it. Had the other ones come over and say, this is what they look like. We've heard about them. So they're out there, and they've gotten the memo. So when you get it, you can certainly use it. You know, Remembrances, we're going to take a moment here, and there's citizens that were with us last month that are not with us this month. We have Cecil Woodall, a decorated World War II veteran, originally from Craig County. Annie Proctor and Virginia Butter, both from Salina, Oklahoma, and Mays County. Ned Boney, a Cherokee citizen from Spavinaw. Michael Nichols, the father of the mayor of Tahlequah. And just minutes before I walked in the door, Phyllis Proctor, the widow of Goodloe Proctor, who served this body for 20-some years. Does the council have any others?
Jeremy Brewer of Oolagaw and Alice Crutchfield Shaw of Inola.
Thank you. Chief?
Lil John Gann of Moody, Oklahoma.
Really?
Yes, sir.
I didn't hear that.
Doug Fielding of Auburn.
Doc Fielding, yeah. If we could take a moment of silence, please. And remember these folks and their families. Thank you all so much. Tonight, we have a special recognition for people who embody the Cherokee spirit through their service and looking out for others. This time, I'd like to recognize Stan Phillips. If you'd come down. In October, the car being driven by the daughter of Vicki Hamby, who works for us and you all know, works in self-governance, was the car was involved in a car accident. Both of Vicky's daughters were in the car when it rolled over. 24-year-old Christina and 10-year-old Madison. Stan, a long-time healthcare professional, was the first to arrive at the scene. He offered his shoes to Christina, whose bare feet were bloodied from the accident and broken glass, and he helped young Madison stay calm until emergency personnel could arrive and extract her from the wreckage. Our deepest thanks and gratitude go to Stan, who is the son of Jiggs Phillips, a man many of us know from his more than 20 years of service on the Cherokee Nation Tribal Council. At this time, Deputy, if you'll help. We'd like to give you the Medal of Patriotism.
I brought my father's cap. He often wore this cap to these meetings. You have to excuse my tears. I told Chief I brought this one because this one smells least like catfish. He loved this body. And I know he did because once a year his brother would come from California and they'd go to the lake. And if there happened to be a council meeting during that time, he'd leave the lake and come to council meeting. So I know he loved this body and he loved this nation. I thank you, Chief. I thank the Tribal Council. Thank the nation.
Now, the good old days, when I was fishing with jigs, it was nothing for us to catch 300 or 400 pounds of catfish. And, of course, the big ones always got away. But we had a lot of fun around the campfire and putting the jugs out. And I truly enjoyed those times with your daddy. Now, additionally, we have Eddie Roberts, Chief of the Volunteer Fire Department of Westville. You'll come down. But tell you what, bring your bodyguards down too. Come on. Come on, fellas. It's kind of like being chief. You get the recognition, but the hard work sometimes just isn't you. It's those good folks backing you up. Eddie's team of volunteer fire responders, many of whom are Cherokee Nation citizens, is second to none. The Westville Department is one of just 2 rescue units in Adair County, and it had the proper equipment to cut young Madison out of the overturned car. For a small volunteer unit, they answered about 230 calls per year. That is one of the reasons the Cherokee Nation funds volunteer units like Westville to better protect our citizens. So often, they are the front line of saving our citizens and our neighbors' lives. The 2 most involved volunteers with Madison were Clark Helm and Bob Kiefer. Gentlemen, you all have our thanks and admiration. Madison spent 2 weeks at the St. Francis Children's Hospital for treatment of her spinal fracture and broken hip and pelvis, but did not require surgery because the Westfield team promptly cared for her on site. Today, Madison is no longer under doctor's care and is healthy. Deputy? Let's move to the center and let's squeeze in like we really like each other. And then put it on you, and you put it on the wall. Becky? Bring the girls back. Stand right here in front. Well, I'm trying. Chief, you got anything to say?
Yes, I do. I appreciate, when she called me, Vicki called me, I told her the first answer was no, we don't want to be recognized. Very seldom, we don't really know how to take that. I've been on 18 years, and I can only think of 2 times in 18 years that anybody's expressed appreciation in this way. So for us, I know it's overwhelming. And we appreciate you. We appreciate the Cherokee Nation. You guys have always supported rural fire protection, and the check that you give us every year, we really appreciate it. So, we don't know how to take this, but all we're going to say is thank you. Appreciate it.
With that concludes the State of the Nation for this month, first of this year. And I guess I don't need to introduce S. Joe Crittenden, as he's next on the agenda with our veterans.
Madam Speaker, are we able to ask any questions of Chief Baker tonight? Or
On the veterans, I think we've moved to Mr. Crittenden.
I was wondering before we did that, because normally we are able to ask questions of the chief after his State of the Nation, and I wondered if we would be able to do that tonight.
I think we're just going to move on to Deputy Chief Crittenden.
So that's a no. No questions may be asked.
Mr. Crittenden.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm honored tonight as we, ladies and gentlemen, as we honor 3 Cherokee warriors. And we've had a good evening so far, and it's going to continue, it looks like. The first veteran we're going to recognize tonight, and by the way, if Councilor Byrd, Council Lady Jordan, and Councilman Walkenstick would come down, please, to help me with this. The gentleman we're going to recognize is Michael Allen Smith, Sr. Is he here with us tonight? Come up, sir. Let's recognize this man. I'm going to read something about you for the folks, okay? You want to see it or you want to stand? Okay. Michael Allen Smith, Sr. was born in Flagstaff, Arizona, and grew up in Oregon. He was inducted into the U.S. Army in 1972 and was assigned to the 9th Infantry Division, working from headquarters battery as a truck driver and light wheel vehicle mechanics. After 17 months at Fort Lewis, he was stationed in Germany, where he ran a large wrecker and was responsible for transporting vehicles around the country. He was honorably discharged on June 15, 1975. After his discharge, he signed up for 6 years of reserves. Michael received several military accommodations, including the Marksmanship Badge, 9th Infantry Badge of Service, Large Wrecker Service in a foreign country, International Driver's License, and the U.S. Pershing Missile Badge. Michael is now retired and lives with his wife, Deborah, near Tahlequah. Sir, I want to thank you for your service to this great country. Our next veteran is Virgil Lee Carter. Virgil? Mr. Carter proudly served his country in the U.S. Army during World War II. He was born in Park Hill, Oklahoma, and inducted into the U.S. Army in 1945. He trained at Camp Fanning in Texas before deploying overseas. While the war was over, I think that should have been when the war was over. Anyhow, the work of the U.S. Army was not. Virgil was sent along with soldiers from the 49th Division to Aversa. Is that right? Yes, Italy. Their job was to destroy all military equipment along with 48,000 tons of ammo, which was loaded on 2 barges at Naples and hauled out into the Mediterranean Sea for disposal. The operation took about 12 months, and Virgil was discharged in 1947. After his years in the service, he received his bachelor and master's degrees from Northeastern State University and his doctorate degree from the University of Arkansas. His formal teaching career ended with his retirement from Northeastern State University. Virgil lives in Tahlequah, where he works with his son in the family business, Carter and Son Locksmiths. And, sir, I want to thank you for your service to this country.
Sure, please, have him come down. Rick, Sandy, come on down. They don't mind as well as I get. Here's a certificate for breaking the Warriors Memorial. And we'll just fill it out, we'll get the brick made, and this is for your wall. We appreciate you so much.
You want to get the pictures now? Okay. All of you.
Okay. You want to say anything?
You want to say something?
Goodbye.
I'd just like to thank the Cherokee Nation and the chief and everybody here tonight appreciate you very much honoring me in this category. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our last warrior tonight, Council Lady Coates, would you come up and help me, and Councilman Baker? And this gentleman is Darrell England. I'm going to read a little bit about you, okay? Darrell was born at the Claremore Indian Hospital and grew up in Tallahassee, Oklahoma. He joined the U.S. Navy in December of 1970 and was assigned to submarine school. He served on the SSBN 600 Theodore Roosevelt, a submarine that did war deterrent patrols from the base in Guam. I was in Guam for 18 months. Wonderful. Wonderful place. When Darrell was promoted to first-class petty officer, he was sent to Newport News, Virginia to man the submarine James Monroe, SSBN 622, in 1977. Darrell was transferred then to Memphis, Tennessee, and served as base security and police officer. During this time, he attended and graduated from the Shelby County Sheriff's Academy in Memphis. He worked with the U.S. Secret Service to provide presidential security for President Jimmy Carter during the 1978 Democratic National Convention in Memphis. In '79, Darrell was honorably discharged after more than 8 years of service in the U.S. Navy. He received a National Service Medal, a Good Conduct Medal, a Pistol Expert Pin, Submarine Qualification Pin, and a War Deterrent Patrol Pin. Darrell is a retired businessman and certified police officer in 2 states and a concealed weapons instructor in Oklahoma. He splits his time between Stillwater, Fort Gibson, Claremore, and Tallahassee. And I want to thank you, sir, for your service to this great country.
Thank you.
Hey, Chief.
Theodore Roosevelt.
That's right, Theodore. Let's get over here and take a picture.
Yeah, Purple Heart coming.
Did I get you?
You know. Absolutely. Would you like to say anything?
Thank you and the Cherokee Nation for this.
Thank you for your service, sir.
Come on, Kai.
Come on, Kyle. 6 weeks old today. Did all of my children have Indian names?
Deputy, you're next.
I can handle that, baby.
One other statement is handling those babies is pretty easy. For Christmas, I got a picture that said that in August I'll have the picture will be coming for the frame for my 10th grandchild. So Thank you all.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Okay, moving on to unfinished business, I see none pending, so we'll move on to committee reports. The first up will be Mr. Cooper with the Housing Authority.
Madam Speaker, members of the council, good evening. I hope that everyone had a Merry Christmas, and this was the first Christmas that a few of our Cherokee families got to spend in a brand new house. And as we get started in this new year, I think it'll be another great year for many of our Cherokee families, as this next Christmas they will also too get to spend some time in their brand new house as we continue building houses again for our Cherokee people. The regular January Housing Authority Board meeting will be tomorrow evening, which is the third Tuesday of the month, at the Housing Authority offices here in Tahlequah, just off of 4th Street, and that meeting starts at 5:30 in the evening. This past month, the Housing Authority hosted a staff development day for our staff and employees. It allowed them an opportunity to come together, and not only did we do some staff development and training, but we also recognized staff for their years of service, either to the Housing Authority or to the Cherokee Nation, but to the Cherokee people in general. And of our staff that we have, I believe that there was somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 at the time. We recognized employees who celebrated their anniversary during the year of 2012. And for the year of 2012, we had 20 employees who celebrated either their 5, 10, or 15-year anniversary. We had 8 employees who celebrated either their 20 or 25-year anniversary. We had 8 employees who celebrated 30 years or more of service to the Cherokee people, either through the Housing Authority or at the Cherokee Nation. And our longest serving employee had 37 years. So we recognize them, and we appreciate all of their hard work and service. This month we began accepting applications again for the spring semester for our college housing program. That application, those applications will remain open through the end of this week, which Friday, January 18th, those will close. Depending on the number of applications we get, we may extend that deadline, and if we do, I'll be sure to send each of you an email so you can let your constituents know. Our home ownership program, which includes our mutual help and rural rental programs, we have exhausted our waiting list, and will reopen that waiting list for February 1st for May, Sequoyah, and Wagner counties. I mentioned that earlier in the Community Services Committee, and I wanted to mention that again this evening just as a reminder that we will be taking applications for some of our houses. Also, as is noted in the report we provide you each month, we assist over 6,000 Cherokee families, Native American families in general, the majority of which are Cherokee, with some type of housing assistance throughout the Cherokee Nation, whether it be rental assistance, home ownership programs, college housing, temporary rental assistance, whatever the case may be. And that includes nearly 2,400 low-income families that we assist in our Community Shield program. That Community Shield program is our program that helps low-income families with affordable homeowners insurance that many of them would not be able to afford otherwise, or many of them live in areas where they could not get affordable homeowners insurance otherwise. So we have several programs over in our shop that we offer and that we help families with. That concludes my report for this evening. I'll be more than happy, as always, to answer any questions that anyone may have.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Gary, thank you, as always, because I appreciate your detailed reports, but I want to make sure that I'm reading it correctly, is that we've built and families have received 15 homes under the new construction from the program to date, or since inception.
I'd have to go back and look and see.
The way I read it was 15, so
I think 15 is correct, plus the 15, because you have to realize that because of reporting, that that reporting is about. I believe it's through the end of November. But I think that is correct. We have 15 additional houses under construction now for a total of 30, and we are on track to start around 15 per month.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else on this side? Okay. Anyone down this row? Okay. Mr. Cooper, thank you for your report. Okay. Our next report is from Sean Slayton, Cherokee Nation Businesses.
Chief, Deputy Chief, Council, I'm happy to represent our employees before you tonight. I'll be reporting on October financial results and December activity. We continue to have a great financial performance from all of our basic companies, and we are looking forward to another strong quarter ending December 31st. And then the second quarter of the year is usually our strongest financial performance. In addition to our net income that we contribute, last month we contributed $255,000 in tax collections to the nation. In December we saw two completions of the Fort Gibson Casino. Appreciate everybody's attendance there. It's turned out to be a really nice facility. It's performing very well, exceeding expectations actually. Our staff is doing a great job there. And then we partially opened the Hard Rock Tower that collapsed 2 years ago in February. It will finish up this month and should be open by the 1st of February. And that's a beautiful facility as well. We had a great New Year's Eve there, and it was the biggest that we've ever had. So things are continuing to look good on the business side. We also announced that we will be the presenting sponsor for the 2013 Bassmaster Classic on the Grand Lake of the Cherokees, and that will be February the 22nd, that weekend. That is actually the Super Bowl of all fishing tournaments. It's anticipated it'll bring over 100,000 people to our communities in northeast Oklahoma and showcase the nation and our facilities. And we're happy to be the presenting sponsor for that. Up at Ramona, we finished the second decorative oil derrick. It was installed late last month. The first one was installed when the construction was completed, and both of those derricks were designed and sculpted by Cherokee National Treasure Bill Glass and his son Demas Glass. And those are wonderful structures. As Chief mentioned, we began work on the Capitol building. We're going to repair the roof, restore some of the soffits, a gutter system, the cupola, new doors and windows, and a new back porch. We'll do a lot of exterior waterproofing for the building's foundation. Work scheduled to be completed by the end of the summer. The preservation of the Capitol building has been financed in part with federal funds from the Save America's Treasure programs administered by the National Park Service, U.S. Department of Interior, and businesses. That building is listed on the National Register of Historic Places and is also designated a national landmark. Our current employment at C&B is 4,315 people. Our Cherokee percentage is 71.5%, with other Native Americans at 7.5% for a total of 79% Native American employment. That concludes my report, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Ms. Watts.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Hi.
Hey, Sarah.
Thanks for coming. I should have extended this to Gary as well. I appreciate all the staff. I think there were 20 folks from Tahlequah or in wherever you actually have to drive from, Sean. I've never figured that out.
I keep that a secret.
That's good, that's good. But 20 people at our community meeting yesterday that staffed, I guess, to support Chief Baker, and we appreciate all those folks. So if Gary's still in the room, thank you too, because I know the Housing Authority was represented. I did have some questions. How much, because folks have asked, how much was the sponsorship? How much in cash and all that have we offered on Bassmaster?
The total is $500,000. It's split into some in-kind contributions. I don't have those figures off the top of my head.
Could you send that to me?
Sure.
Okay. And then there were several land deals that were announced tonight that I had by Chief Baker in the State of the Nation, and I had no prior knowledge of them. So all these land purchases and stuff, can we get some details? We still don't have any details on the Berry property, even on the amount of money spent or how large it is, the legal description or the planned usage.
Sure, we put out press releases on the size of it. The one I'm familiar with tonight was the Oak Creek Village.
What is it?
The Oak Creek Village.
Oak Creek
That's
Village.
The retail
That's the $1 million strip mall on the highway?
Yes.
And then, I mean, that's the way I heard it described. I'm hearing mumblings from my left, or rumblings, but that's, so I don't know if that's correct to describe it, because I don't know anything about it until I heard that reported tonight. I don't know if it's a strip mall, but that's what I thought Chief Baker had said, so.
Okay. It's the little retail shopping center.
Okay.
There on Highway 62.
But I also heard a number of other ones that, so maybe you were not, the CNB was or was not involved with them, or?
The golf course, Berry property is the only other one that I remember. I'm not sure what the other ones mentioned were.
Okay. I have, I don't know, I think it's scuttlebutt, but I'd like to clear the air because it's coming from Cherokee County, and specifically it came people at Cherry Springs Golf Course, and then I also heard it from someone in the chief's office, are we having discussions with outside management firms to manage our casinos, such as like Harrah's?
No.
Good. I am so glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Nix that rumor right in the bud.
Yes.
So, and also, because I haven't got to go to a subcommittee on finance for the CNB in quite some time, so I couldn't help but notice there seemed to be a big, significant decrease in cash of $30 million, it looked like. Could you explain, is that for these property purchases?
No.
That we didn't have to take out loans?
I'm sure that what that relates to is paying for the expansions. You know, we're debt-free in terms of all the capital improvements that we have.
If I schedule a meeting with you, can we go over it?
Absolutely.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I just want to say congratulations on the Bass Pro sponsorship. I don't quite understand it all, but I'm getting a lot of comments that they say it's a big deal, so I'll take their word for it. I think it's going to bring in a lot of people and a lot of money and that sort of thing. So congratulations on getting that.
I appreciate that, Don. It is a big deal. It's a big deal nationally. It's a big deal to Oklahoma. It'll be a special big deal for our communities. There'll be a lot of tourism dollars come in from that. And we also have the option negotiated into that for another one or two future sponsorships that are coming to Northeast Oklahoma. So it's a really good deal for us.
Maybe at the end we can have a fish fry.
Absolutely. I'm all for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Councilman Berger.
Yes, Sean, again, thank you for reassuring us that we're not talking to outside entities for management agreements there. Appreciate that.
I don't know where that's
don't
coming
need that.
from. We have
I've
a
not
fine
heard
group
that.
of Cherokee people that manage our casinos. We do a great job.
Are we doing a feasibility study on the very property to determine what it is that we might do with that?
At some point we will, yes. The feasibility study that's currently underway is for Salisaw Creek in Sequoyah County.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Certainly. Just briefly, Madam Speaker, Mr. Slayton, just thank you for another month of strong leadership at CNB. As you know, we raised the cap on property purchases late last month. And
Yes.
that's what this discussion is about with respect to the golf course property. There's been a lot in the news about it, but frankly, I think it's a good investment, and it comes from the same team, your team, that's made a lot of great investments. It's made a lot of money for Cherokee Nation businesses, which in turn has generated a lot of dividend for this nation, and we appreciate it. And we have confidence in you in that specific property transaction, or we wouldn't have lifted the cap and the other property transactions that you're engaged in. So we just want you to be reassured that you've got the support of this body. Thank you, Manager.
Well, I appreciate that. Without the council and our strong board, and our great people, none of this would be possible.
Councilman Lake?
Thank you. Yeah, Sean, thank you and your team for making us a lot of money. You just keep doing it. It keeps increasing. It's amazing to me. And I want to thank you, too, for this high Cherokee percentage of employment. We really appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. It's a team effort.
Mr. Kemp?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Sean, do we inherit any employees with the Berry Farm acquisition?
There were some employees at Cherry Springs that we retained, yes.
And were they Cherokee?
I don't know the answer to that. I really don't, Lee. I didn't ask that question. We bought the stock in that company, so the assets and the employees came with the stock.
Are you going to start with the golf course? Does it need any help as far as the course itself, as far as maintenance?
We've started the day that we took over operations, putting together a needs analysis on that course. It's been a great course in the past. It's home to a lot of Cherokee golfers, and as with both of our other courses, we like for those to be in top shape and be an asset to the Cherokee Nation, and we'll make the same dedicated effort to that one.
Thank you. And I have to ask, since it's the new year, are we getting closer to a tribal council policy?
Oh, I'm sure we are.
Maybe next month? I think it's been 2 or 3 months now.
Yes.
Sean and I will be getting together on that. There's just been a lot of holiday activity, and so we'll get a meeting between the two of us to work on that.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Sean.
Mr. Thornton?
Yes, Sean. I wanted to ask you about the Blue Ribbon racetrack itself. So are we any closer to making any kind of a deal on that with anyone?
Well, we own the property, and we have been in deep analysis, Dave, on really what to do with that. I think one option has floated to the surface that appears to be more feasible than another. As you know, we're doing a feasibility study. We just hired Klaus Robinson to come in, and there are 3 assets in Sequoyah County that specifically we asked them to look at: Salisaw Creek, BRD, and our Roland Casino and Travel Plaza there. And so as the month progresses, I think it's a 60 or 90-day burn time on their feasibility study. They're going to incorporate that into their study, and we'll compare what we've come up with what they think may be a good alternative.
I know that we have 6 day workers out there at the track, and they've done a lot of good. They've done a lot of work, and I really appreciate them. But do you have any idea or anything about tearing down the old barns that's there that are unsightly that shouldn't have anything to do with the feasibility study?
One of the proposals that has come in is to upgrade that track, and in that proposal is to remove, I believe it's 8 barns that are considered dilapidated and an eyesore, and also maybe at some point a safety hazard. So whether or not we go down the path with that particular proposal or not, we will probably move to just on our own take those down.
Do you have any idea when the proposal will come before you and the board?
No, I do not. It's a third party that has been talking to us about that, and I'm not sure where they are, financially and getting it prepared and trying to make that commitment.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Another thing is, when you get to 90% Cherokee for CND, I'll thank you.
Okay. All right.
Yes, Mr. Lake.
Madam Chairman, and I'll thank him too. That's Mr. Thornton. We're at almost 100% in Ramona, so I'm thanking him every day.
Well, good report, Mr. Slayton. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to old business. I see none pending, so we'll move into new business and okay.
Madam Speaker, at this time I make a motion to amend the agenda to add as a new business item number 4, the resolution recognizing Wes Welker. And the handouts before us, not all the sponsors are on this, but Shelley has noted that from the committee meeting that all council members are sponsors of this. So with that, I move for an amendment of the agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor can signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Okay. Number 1 is out of the Rules Committee. Mr. Hoskins, will you take that?
Certainly, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it's my pleasure to move for the approval of the resolution confirming the nomination of Buck George as a board member of Cherokee Nation Businesses, LLC. Mr. George is here, and as you know, Madam Speaker, from committee, he brings to the task a wealth of business experience, and we're very glad that he stepped forward to take this nomination. I move for its approval.
Okay, we have a motion and second. We'll go into discussion now. Mr. George is moving down to the microphone. Do we have questions, comments, or discussion on this side? We have questions or comments on this side. I have one exposure to make, as I made in the committee meeting when his name, Buck George, was sent over. I called the chief's office and I said, well, you've nominated a very good man. I just want to let you know that he is my cousin. So we did some checking and got approval through the Attorney General's office, and I think he's a very fine choice. And my understanding is from the Attorney General's office that I can participate in voting. Okay, I'm just going to make that disclosure. He is one of my better cousins. Okay. Well, then, this is a resolution. We could do it by acclamation if someone would make such a suggestion. Okay. All those in favor of the resolution confirming the nomination of Buck George as a board member of Cherokee Nation Businesses can signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Ayes have it. Mr. George, would you like to make a statement?
Yes, I would. I'd like to first thank Chief Baker for the nomination, and also I'd like to thank the council for the approval of the vote. I look forward to the challenge and hope that I can help and make our Cherokee Nation a better place and for the people. I look forward to it. It's exciting. The nation's really growing. I think it'd be a great opportunity, and I thank you for your time tonight, and thank you for your vote of approval.
Well, thank you. Okay, the second act is out of the Executive and Finance Committee. Ms. Fishnock, will you take that?
The purpose of this amendment is to authorize and approve the use of funds in the Comprehensive Budget Act for fiscal year 2013. The cumulative total of the budget is increased by over $3 million for a total budget authority of $535,266,881, and I move for its approval.
Okay, we have a motion and second on item 12155. Are there any questions, discussion, comments? This is an act We'll go ahead and do a roll call vote, I suppose.
John Barton,
Yes.
Frankie Hargis,
Yes.
Chuck Hoskin Jr.,
Yes.
Hannah Glory Jordan.
Yes.
Lee Keener,
Yes.
Dick Clay,
Yes.
Curtis Snell,
Yes.
David Thornton,
Yes.
David Walker
Yes.
Stu, Eric Allen White.
Yes.
Bill England.
Yes.
Matt Baker.
Yes.
Joe Byrd,
Yes.
Juliet Coates,
Yes.
Jody Fishinghawk. Meredith Rayleigh,
Yes.
Janelle Fulbright.
Yes.
It's 17 yes and 0 no.
That carries, and the mod is approved. The next item is 12156. Ms. Fishinghawk, I'm going to have you take that too.
The purpose of this amendment is to authorize and approve use of funds in the Comprehensive Capital Budget Act for fiscal year 2013. The cumulative total of the capital budget is increased by $2,246,329 for a total capital budget authority of $103,547,975, and I move for its approval.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Discussion, comments, questions?
By acclamation.
Okay. We have you're putting that in form of a motion, aren't you?
If there's no objection, I think it just,
We'll just go ahead then and on, if there's no discussion, 12156, by acclamation, everyone in favor, just signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposition? Ayes have it, and this act is passed too. Then we have brought up in today's committee meetings, item number 4, and Ms. Fulbright, you and Mr. Garvin, would one of you all take that?
Yes, I will. This is a resolution in recognition of Wes Welker, a citizen of the Cherokee Nation, for his outstanding athletic accomplishments. We want to recognize Wes Welker, a Cherokee citizen, who's the wide receiver for the New England Patriots. Wes is tied with Jerry Rice in NFL history with 17 games of at least 10 catches. Welker is on pace to break a tie with Chris Carter as the only player to catch 120 passes in a season twice. Welker has the most receptions in the past 6 seasons, 646, by a large margin over Brandon Marshall. And with 8 more catches, he will break a tie with those retired NFL stars, and Welker will become the first player with 100 receptions in 5 different seasons. And whereas family members of Wes Welker reside in Sequoyah County within the jurisdictional boundaries of the Cherokee Nation, and therefore be it resolved by the Cherokee Nation that the council hereby recognizes Wes Welker, a citizen of the Cherokee Nation, for his outstanding athletic accomplishments as the New England Patriots wide receiver. And I might say that Councilor Garvin is a longtime friend of his grandmother and her sisters, and they are descendants of the Ryder and Rigsby family and the Adaires. And we're very proud that they hail from Sequoyah County originally. Councilor Garvin.
I second the motion.
Okay.
A comment. I checked records on the computer a while ago, and his team won 41-28, beat the Houston Rockets, or that's not their name, Houston Texans. And you said he needed 8 more catches. Guess how many he got yesterday? 8 catches, 131 yards, and his longest run was 47 yards. So he had an outstanding day yesterday. So I guess he breaks the records.
Any comments or questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Ayes have it. We'll try to get Gable so she could do something along the lines of presentment. Okay. All right. We're down to announcements. Does anyone have announcements to make? Ms. Watts.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. On Thursday, January 24th, from 5 to 8 p.m., we will have the photo IDs from registration at the Claremore High School cafeteria. And also, I know we have one of our youth council representatives, Elizabeth Burns, along with a number of other youth council representatives, and we appreciate you being here, And as special guest, the president of Washington County Cherokee Association, Dora Smith-Patowski, and that is Betty Smith's daughter, if you've read her Cherokee language books. We appreciate you being here, Dora.
Thank the Cherokee Nation employees and staff for being at the District 2's community meeting this past December. There was about, I'd say between 550 and 600 people there that you all got to meet and serve and answer questions to, and I do appreciate it.
Madam Speaker, I'm glad we have 2 members of our election commission here. We just passed a budget for them to do a big job. And,
we have 2 more up
we have more up here. Okay, very good. We also have a member of the Cherokee Nation Board, Mr. Taylor from Pryor here, so I'm glad that he's here.
Okay. Other announcements? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, second. All in favor, signify saying aye. No opposition. See you next month.